Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to African Brand Academy Podcast, your top number one African podcast on brand development and digital transformation, giving you insight and effective strategies to grow, scale, and promote your brand. Here are your hosts, Sharon and Ejiro Akbobome.
Hey guys, good day and welcome to another episode on the African Brand Academy podcast. Okay, so today I'd love to dive into something crucial that affects every type of brand and beneficial for you to properly build and scale your brand, which is your audience. Because without this, you'll just be setting money on fire. And even in creating content, getting to know who your audience is improves your communication and engagement with them. So today, we will be learning how to find our target market and the benefits of creating our target audience and how to talk to them, because it's based on who your audience is that determines your lingo and how you conversate with these people. Knowing that, you get to find out that understanding who your audience is and what they want is always done first, because then it can also help you when developing your other brand strategy elements. Who are we trying to meet? What's their pain point? What's their miseries? What are they going through? What's miracle for them? What keeps them up at night? Who are they? Because when you know these people, that's when you know what products to create for these people. Another reason we develop the audience persona, do our market research first, because we need our audience analysis to know or to develop our differentiator, which is what differentiates you in the marketplace, because the audience you'd be catering for can also be a significant differentiation for you. With our audience analysis, we'll be able to know how to develop our positioning strategy. And if you don't know what positioning strategy is and how to develop it, go back to our last two episodes and get a better grasp on that. Another thing is our positioning statement, still on the same episode. We'll be able to create our human brand persona, which is the human aspect of your brand, and brand personality and archetype, our brand voice and our language, our messaging framework, our storytelling framework, our brand identity system, our brand expression and experience. For all this to be developed effectively, we have to first of all understand who this audience is. One of the biggest mistakes you can make as a business is to come up with a product or a service first, then try to feed it into somewhere in the market or from experience. It doesn't work. At the end of the day, later on, you have to start doing some tweaks and some fixings and some adjustments to make sure that you are relevant or you're even at least seen in the market. The best way is to first develop the service or the product that will meet the needs of the prospects in the market. When it comes to marketing, the customer doesn't buy when they understand. They buy when they feel understood. And that is all about empathy, awareness. It's about viewing things from their own perspective. Why your prospect doesn't convert or connect with your marketing campaigns that you've been doing is because it doesn't resonate with them. They don't understand how these things apply to them. So they just tune it out and scroll past. And at the end of the day, you just, like I said, you're just wasting money. You're throwing money into the fire because they're not converting. And you just probably get leads and leads and leads, but nobody is converting. And what we need for business to grow and to scale is that conversion. And for you to get that conversion, you have to know who your target audience is, then talk to them directly. When they feel understood, then they'll be able to do more business with you. I told you about most of the tech companies that are coming out in Nigeria in our last two episodes. So Kuda, for example, most of these brands are trying to put a human touch to their brand messaging. Newsletters, you see something like Ore from Kuda, you see John from Jumia. They're trying to put a human touch to it. And the reason is because they're trying to relate to you one-on-one. They're trying to relate to their audience one-on-one. Sometimes like when you go on Twitter, for instance, and you see Cowrywise or you see Kuda trending, it's because they probably dropped one notification that is really funny or that really resonates with their audience. And the audience is like calling them out on Twitter in a funny way and having a conversation with them. But this can happen if you don't know those audience well, because this company like Kuda and Cowrywise, I'm using as an example, they are investment platforms. And I'm sure when they were growing this platform, they said, okay, which demographic will be able to buy the idea of actually saving on a mobile phone and not saving in a piggy bank box like the made one? Which demographic? And the found is the younger demographics. And they say, okay, since the young demographic, we are going to learn their lingo, their attitudes, their behaviors. There's some notification that will come from Piggyvest, and they will be like, easy on the spending this weekend. Say they will not add one slang or one pidgin slang. Once you understand this lingo, then they feel they can relate with you better. And that all boils down first to understanding who they are. So your target market is a group of people that have been identified, and most likely they're your potential customers for a product or for your service, or as a loyal fan for you as a personal brand, because they have shared characteristics such as their demographics and their geographics. But sometimes your fans or your community can range from a lot of places around the world but share the same characteristics. So that's what target market is. Specifying and niching your audience helps you compete in the large market and helps you increase trust from your audience. Previously, a trend we saw in business development is that one company will want to be your plug for everything in a particular aspect. Like if you come and ask, do you do this one? They'll say, yes, I do. Do you do this? I say, yes, I do. That's the way it was in the past. But today, people who know what they want mostly buy from specialists, because I'm imagining if you go to your dentist and then he's trying to be everything to you, what are you going to do? You're going to run away from that kind of person. Reason being that that's not why you came there. You came because you need a dentist. It doesn't only apply to the medical field, but it has to apply to everything. The more you niche down, the higher your marketing efforts are going to yield increase. I don't want you to be afraid of niching down, because you might feel like, if I do that, then I'm only targeting a very small group and then I am losing on the higher market, the bigger market. When you set a target audience, it doesn't mean that you're going to zone out every other person else. No, it's just that you've created this product for these people, and any other person that feel that they can also benefit from the product can. But when you're marketing, you're mostly talking to this set of people because you know that those are your prospect that you want to do business with. If you want to learn how to get this audience better, you find out that oftentimes a business idea is born from the experience of a problem. The reason I started the brand agency was because after I left college, I wanted to be independent and I wanted to start my own business in quotes. But I did not know how to do that. I didn't know that there's a way that I'm supposed to follow. I didn't know there's a process that I need to follow and anything. I just did the training and I'm like, okay, I started printing flyers. I started doing marketing straight ahead. Started posting on walls and stuff like that. And I never got a call. For years, I just tried and failed and failed and tried and failed. Until I got my break. And then when I got my break, I'm like, okay, cool. Then I want to start an agency that can help people to go through that process of building a business and how to structure that business perfectly well so that it can even last a long time. Because some other businesses I've tried to start also, I stopped them. It failed to the extent that I had to just stop the business. So how do I set my business for long-term success that it can even exceed me? Something I can sell, something I can even get to my generation, something I can scale. How do I do that? That is the reason I started the brand agency. So most times, the business idea is born from the experience of the problem. And the problem sometimes is even by divisionary. Like, so if I'm trying to do for my target audience now, who do I look for mostly? I look for those people who are new to business, who doesn't know anything about business, but would love to start and turn their profit, their passion into profit and start a business, or their idea into something that is scalable. In this case, the target audience are people exactly like or similar to the visionary, like I said, like I am, who are likely to experience the same problem in a similar way. This puts the leader of the brand in a very advantageous position, because then you're able to tap into your own experience to better understand your target market. So if I'm trying to understand my target market now, I'm trying to look more into my target market, and I created this solution from a problem I had. What I'm going to look at me at my point A. Who was I? What was I researching on? Where was I hanging out mostly? Was I trying to do anything? Who was I trying to get information from? So when I look at me at point A, I'm like, okay, most people who has this point A problem, let me target them, let me do some A/B testing and see if they're actually in need of this product or this service. Boiling down to the reason for this episode, how do I find my target audience? You see, the data used to define the target audience is usually broken down into the geographic, the psychographic, and the demographic of your prospect. If they are located in a particular place, you have to list it down. Okay, I'm targeting people who are in West Africa, I'm targeting people who are in Nigeria, I'm targeting people from the East, because the lingo they understand in the East is different from the lingo they understand in the West. And if you're trying to use the lingo for the West in the East, then you are wasting marketing resources. So you look at the geographic, the psychographic, meaning their habits, their hobbies, their purchasing power, their income level, their demographic being the age, their gender, their occupation. Even if you're targeting, so I want you to write this down so that you can be able to identify them properly. Like I was just talking about the classes being the geographic, psychographic, and demographic, but breaking it down, First of all, you list their age, 1, 2, male or female, or the both of them. 3, their education background. 4, their purchasing power. 5, their social class. 6, their location. 7, their consumption habits or their buying habits. 8, their income level, which is almost the same thing with their purchasing power. But their income level is different from their purchasing power, because someone who is earning $30,000, for instance, might not have a good purchasing power regarding where they live, because the cost of living there is expensive. So before they are able to buy certain things, their basic amenities has already eaten their income. So then they have lesser purchasing power. So you can group these two things separately. How much are they earning, and how much can they keep aside, or how much do they have aside to purchase extra things that could help them? And then going on their occupation and their wants and their aspirations, like when I was speaking in the beginning, their miseries and their miracles. What is the thing that's keeping them up at night? What is their problem? What's the problem? Like, for instance, at my own point A, I was not able to get customers for my business. I spent a lot of money on trying to do marketing, and I didn't get any conversion. Now, not being able to get clients and to be able to work, that was more of my misery. My miracle was getting my first client. So imagine if I saw an ad that says tips on getting your first client. Don't you think I'll be searching on that? Don't you think that I will be open to that kind of conversation or that kind of knowledge? Because all I want right at that point is to get a first client. So that was my miracle. So you have to understand, what are their miracles, what are the miseries, what's their aspiration. If, for example, if you're selling women's shoes, then the gender being the demographic, right, will quickly filter out men, narrowing your audience to half already. And as you apply each demographic filter, you filter out more of what is not your audience until you're left with the large group of people who are more likely to buy what you have. Demographics are like the ultimate categorization tool to start with, because they focus on the basic detail of your audience. The first thing is the age. Or if I'm selling women's shoes, what kind of women's shoes am I selling? Am I selling heels, or I'm selling sandals, or whatever? Which demographics wear heels more? Okay, from say 16 to 35, they will be good with the pencil heels. Now, filter out the children, you filter out the old people, because those people are mostly with the wedge and sandals and things that are more comfortable for them. Then with psychography, being another layer of categorization, which focuses on the behavior of your audience, their buying power, what they like to watch. You have to actually research perfectly well. You can't draw your audience analysis based on your competitor. You cannot draw your audience analysis based on what's already in the market. You have to do the research for yourself, because then you will know what the gap is and what this audience really wants. So when you come to the psychographic area, we are looking at their buying habits, their consumption habits. Do they shop online, or do they prefer shopping offline? Their hobbies. So if those shoes you were selling, wearing the average women's shoes, but they were climbing shoes, then your psychographics will help you categorize your audience based on this behavior. Meaning that you'll not be targeting women who are active, who are adventurous, who love hiking. Those people are more likely to buy what you have than women who prefer comfort, luxury, and pampering. Once you filter out the people who are least likely to want what you have, then you now begin to refine and dig deeper to find people who are most likely to be your ideal customer. How much do they earn? Are my running shoes high in quality and high in price? So if my running shoes are high in quality and high in price, how much do these people earn? Are they able to buy? Which set of people, which class of people will be able to buy my running shoes? The more refined your audience is, the better your marketing conversions. I remember a question from our community when someone asked if there's a difference between the target audience and a target persona. The thing there is, customer personas are like profiles of buyers that would be your ideal customers. For instance, we're talking about running shoes, and I say my target persona will be a 25-year-old female who is working a 9 to 5, is not married yet. Her income is about $50,000 a year, and then she loves hiking. And now I've been able to know the age, her location, the salary, down to even her salary, how much her purchasing power is, where she hangs out online, where she hangs out offline, her professional information, the kind of job she does. That is a customer persona. You can have as much customer persona as your product or your service allows you to have, but the reason for these personas is because they enable you to talk directly to that particular person. So if that lady, if that 25-year-old sees a content that you shared or something, she would be able to engage with that content or with that campaign or with that ad. Why your target audience is more like a general aspect, and this normally helps in marketing. But the target persona is a person, your perfect dream client. That is who your target persona is. And persona involves much deeper, like I said, more detailed research than your audience, since it has like personal characteristics, the person's purchasing power, the person's lifestyle, the person's interest, the person's engagement in social media, the person's professional information. So that is something that you have to dive more deeper to know. And there is also a difference between the target audience and target market. Your target audience is the set of consumers that a company plans to sell to or reach with marketing activities. And a target audience is a group or segment within that target market that is being served advertisement. So this makes the target audience more specific subset of a target market. So the broadening thing is the target market. You niche it down to target audience, and you niche it down again to target personas. To go back to our running shoe example, your target market is like the marathon runners. Let's say you're having a deal at Lagos. Your target audience for that ad promoting a sale would be prospective runners in Lagos, female marathon runners in Lagos State. That's going to be your target audience, specific for a marketing campaign or marketing ad. Target audience can often be used interchangeably with target market because it's a specific subset of the largest market group. However, target market doesn't always have to mean your target audience. If I am to bring out a new shoe that is stylish, probably comfy, helps with the ankles, because of those features, I'm going to be looking at probably 30-year-old female marathon runners because need more of that protection than the younger demographics. So I'm not targeting that particular 30-year-old lady who probably runs once in a week and has the income level and purchasing power to afford a $200 marathon shoe. That's not going to be my target persona. So now we've been able to differentiate these three: the target market, target audience, and target persona. It is possible to reach everybody at once, and it's crucial to identify and define this target audience because in this current economy, for instance, small businesses can even compete with large businesses by marketing to define audience group. So even as a new brand coming into the market, you defining and knowing exactly who your target audience is gives you a better edge than your competitors already, because you already know who you're going for and how to talk with them. And all you have to do is just tweak certain things in your brand strategy to be able to lock in these clients and these prospects faster and better than your competitors. And then you have the big share in the market. How do I now define them? The first thing I feel you should do is conduct the marketing research. You can use social media analysis by, if you already have a good following on social media, you can use social media analysis to know who already is engaging with your brand. And if you don't have much following like that, you can run adverts, you can run A/B test adverts. Message your agency to do that for you if you don't know how to do A/B test adverts. And do A/B test ads to different personas with a particular campaign, but different personas, and see which one converts more. These are people that are actually interested in this thing and this product and this service. On that way is you can send out surveys to potential buyers, people that you feel are already in your circle, that you feel that, okay, this is a potential buyer that could actually buy from me. I had this idea last week and I was talking to a friend of mine and I was sharing my passion about this idea and everything. And the first thing I said, she was already against it. To be honest, she's also a target market that would benefit from what I want to bring to the market. But one of the features I put in that idea, she was against it. And me, who just brought the idea, I'm like, why are you against it? But when I got to sit down and actually talk to her and listen to why she was against it, I got to understand that, damn, even me, I will be against it at that point. So I had to refine it. Conduct surveys. You have to go out, talk to your prospective buyers. You don't need to sell it to them, but just understand what their pay point is. Instead of cold calling to sell, cold call businesses to understand what challenges they're having right now in their business in certain areas. That can give you an edge on your own already to understand the gap and then capitalize on that gap in the market. And then number 2 you can do is, if you created that business solution out of a problem you had before, go back to point A and understand how you were in that path and figure out if there are other people that point A currently in the marketplace. Number 3 is know your existing customers. Like I said before, if you have a good following on social media, run an analysis. If you have an offline books on the previous clients and customers you've had before, go back in retrospect and check what do they have in common, right? Check what they have in common. And number 4 would be employ multi-segment differentiated marketing, which includes mostly, like I said, the A/B testing, But even in offline and in print, billboard marketing, you can still do this differentiated marketing. For instance, in Nigeria, if you go to the West, particularly mostly Ibadan, Ondo, those thick Western places, most of their billboards, their copies are in Yoruba. Literally, I'm Yoruba, but sometimes I don't even understand what is there. But for the people that they want to use that product, even when that same brand comes to Port Harcourt, Nigeria, and then they use English. So the question is, why are they using Yoruba there? The truth of the matter is, some people in Ibadan, because it is a very historical place, some people in Ibadan, they don't understand English, but they can read Yoruba and they can understand Yoruba. You don't want them to be left out. So what do? You use their lingo. And even people that can understand English and Yoruba, with them seeing Yoruba on a billboard, will catch their interest faster and be like, okay, what does this thing mean? You can try to marketing campaign, the same message, but to different segments. Segments in the sense that different personas, for instance, the youth and probably the elderly. See which one converts better. Number 5 will be develop ideal customer avatar. Like I said before, go back to the drawing table and try developing these personas. Personas can also be called avatar. Try developing these personas and see how you can be able to talk with them and communicate with them effective. So after doing all this, how do you know that you're now attracting your right audience? Number 1, your marketing efforts yield more sales than before. Number 2, your customers are now familiar with you before even buying. They become familiar with you. They probably get to engage with you more on socials or physically before even buying with you. And your audience are now actually engaging. They are your comments, they are sharing, they are liking. If you go out for campaigns, physical campaigns, you get people purchasing and they're communicating back. They're joining conversations on social media. Your marketing efforts and your ads are now converting on a higher scale. That is now when you know I am now attracting my right audience and I'm speaking with them clearly in a language they understand. And lastly, before I go, the next thing after you find your audience is you now learn all there is to know about them. Learn all these things to know about them. Learn their lingo and slangs. Learn their miracles, like I said. Learn their desires. Learn when they hang out online. Learn how they even talk. How they communicate with each other. Learn all that. Do more of social listening. Because when you do that, you will be able to know how to communicate with these people. See, all this will help you know how to communicate with them and will make them engage with your brand on social media and physically. And you will also be able to know the kind of campaigns that will attract them. Conclusion of all this is that marketing today is about creating tribes. It's not just about creating a following now on social media, or it's no longer measured on how many followers you get. It's how many loyal fans do you have? How many recurring buyers do you have? That is how you measure your marketing efforts these days. If you don't know how to start, you don't know where to start, you can message us at africanbrandacademy@gmail.com. We'll be happy to help. You can also reach our supporter for this podcast, Divan Agency, at divan.com.ng. They are a brand agency, so they will be able to put you through the whole process. Thank you for joining me this week. I'll be back next week with more information. So have a great week ahead and God bless you. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Follow if you haven't followed. You can show some love. We want to get to feel your 2 cents. So just drop a review, subscribe to our channel, join the conversation, join our social media channels. All of them are linked in the podcast description. So join the communities. In our community, we talk every day. So even if we come here and talk once in a week, in our community, we talk every day. And if you're into Clubhouse, we would love to have you there. If you have a question pertaining to branding or business development, you can email us at africanbrandacademy@gmail.com or message us on any of the social media platforms or social media communities, and I will be able to answer you on the next episode. It could be your question, and even if I'm not able to answer you here directly, I'd make sure to answer you in the communities. And this is Sharon Alfred saying ciao. Take care.